After Google and Tesla's last week, more big tech companies are reporting this week. We'll hear from Microsoft. We'll also hear from Meta, Amazon, and Apple. Join us right now on what to expect. Doug Clinton is the founder and CEO of Intelligent Alpha. Good morning to you. Of those names, and we can pick through them. I think a lot of folks are going to be focused on Apple. They're also going to be focused on Meta, frankly, especially given all of the big investments that Mark Zuckerberg's been making in the world of AI. Which one do you want to take first?
Let's do Meta. And we can start here, Andrew. At Intelligent Alpha, we use AI. We use the large language AI models to make estimates for 1,000 companies every single quarter to figure out whether AI thinks these companies will beat or miss earnings. Meta is one of the companies in the Mag 7 that our models expect to beat earnings, and it's also a stock that we own. I think to your point about sort of some of these investments, that's going to be the big topic on the call. Is Mark Zuckerberg has just spent billions of dollars on talent to try to catch up in the AI frontier model race, because clearly Llama is behind. It's a model that we don't even use as AI practitioners at our firm. And so I think that will be the highlight on the call. I would also expect them to talk about probably continued expenses in CapEx, just like we heard Google, who added another $10 billion to their CapEx estimates for this year.
Let's go hit Apple, because there's a lot of questions around Apple. There's a lot of questions around Apple as it relates, by the way, to AI and whether they need to have a model, whether Siri works well enough, and what the new upgrade cycle might look like this coming fall.
So our models think Apple, in terms of earnings, Andrew, will be fine this quarter. I think the reality, though, is the stock is still under question for all the reasons you just described, right? What will they do in AI? And the reality is we're not going to get very many answers this quarter. It's just not how Apple runs their sort of new product launches. And so for Apple, the catalyst really is about what do they talk about in September with the new iPhone launch? Do they announce some new AI features that maybe can start to accelerate iPhone growth, or maybe even the services growth if they build their own model? It seems pretty clear so far that they are going to be relying on third parties like GPT, like Gemini from OpenAI and Google for the AI capabilities. And I think that that will just be an overhang on the stock for the next few months.
Do you think it matters that they have their own LLM or not long term?
I don't think it matters that much, because if you look at sort of how they've run their services and things that are on device that are very popular, it hasn't really mattered in the past. You know, you look at Google Maps as an example, or Google Search. I think they've been happy to partner with one of the best providers, right, where they create these services. Customers love using Google. And I think you're going to find the same things with LLMs. If they can just put GPT in the phone in a good way and maybe put some guardrails around it to make the consumer feel safe using it, then I think that'd be good enough.
Hey, Doug, one of the mega caps you don't own is Amazon, and that's because you do have some concerns around AI?
That's right, Becky. Our models for Amazon are concerned about the top line this quarter. And so our models are expecting a miss on the top line. We actually think the bottom line will be fine. So there may be some margin strength there. But the concern, I think, from our AI models is centered around just what do the tariffs mean? What have they done over the last quarter? And I think even more importantly, you know, as maybe some of these impacts start being felt, we keep hearing, I know we've talked about on the show earlier today, keep hearing when will some of the inflation increases happen. That might be something that creeps up in Q3. And so our models are just concerned about that going into that quarter.
In terms of, we keep talking about the tariffs and inflation and everything else. Do you believe, as our last guest did, that actually companies, and I wonder about tech companies in particular, are keeping prices down to prevent the wrath, if you will, of the president?
I think all these companies are certainly smart about how they're dealing with politics. You know, I think we've seen in terms of the administration change from last year to this year, I think some of the tone at many of these companies have changed. But to your specific point about prices, I don't know that they're doing much to really keep prices artificially low. I mean, if you think about a Google, if you think about a Meta, you know, they operate their businesses where they are efficient marketplaces. And so I think the prices of ads, for example, are really a reflection of what the advertisers think they can sell into the market. And so I don't think they're probably doing anything specific with prices, but certainly as they think about policy and how they run their businesses, I think they've gotten a different mindset politically.
Hey, Doug, you said Llama, you guys don't even use it. Which models do you use there?
The three that we focus on, Becky, are GPT from OpenAI, Gemini from Google, and Claude from Anthropic. We do also use Grok, and in my opinion, I mean, those four are clearly the best models on the market. We've experimented with Llama, but it's been disappointing, and I don't think that's controversial to even say, given what Mark Zuckerberg is spending. He knows he needs to catch up.